Wendy, a 23-year-old recent graduate with a degree in marketing and data analytics, embodies the paradox of Gen Z potential and workplace disillusionment. Wendy is armed with internships from small businesses where she usually was a social media manager. She also has certifications in use of AI tools and fluency in the programming language Python. Recently, Wendy entered the job market confident in her tech-savvy edge. Yet, 6 months later and about 500 applications sent out, she remains unemployed. So this is a typical story that will resonate with recent graduates. They come into the workforce but cannot find any employment. This is despite the headlines everywhere that there is a severe skilled labor shortage at the moment. So what is really going on? In this video, we will discuss why AI is making it hard for recent graduates to get a job and why this might be a permanent problem as AI continues to advance. Recently, there has been talks of agentic AI taking over some roles at numerous companies. The most clear-cut roles that are being lost to AI is customer care or customer relations. Here's a video of 11 labs showcasing how their conversational AI, which can be used for customer care.
Building AI agents that can speak is now easier than ever.
Hi, what would you like to talk about today?
Introducing conversational AI with 11 Labs. Build, test, and deploy, all in one platform for the most natural way to communicate with technology.
Hey, can I check the status of my order?
Yes, of course. Let me check for you now. Your order is due to arrive at around 2 p.m.
Building conversational AI agents used to be immensely complex and demand huge resources, but not anymore. Start building your agent by creating a voice or exploring our vast high-quality library to discover one that's perfect for your application.
Hello and welcome to DHK Online. How can I help you today?
With a wide range of the best LLMs to choose from, you can then upload your knowledge base and define the goal and personality of your agent. Or alternatively, you can integrate your own server to take full control.
Hi, this is Eric from Bound Events. How can I help?
Hey, I accidentally bought a ticket twice. Could I get a refund, please?
Sure, please read out your reference number and I can begin to process that right now.
Our system will analyze and evaluate your transcripts, providing you with valuable insights, conversation playback, and the ability to test and define success criteria. And it's all possible in 32 different languages.
Welcome to DC Medical. How can I help?
Hello, ¿hablas español?
Sí, por supuesto que hablo español. ¿En qué puedo ayudarle?
And best yet, effortlessly deploy your agent into websites with a single copy and paste. Or leverage our SDK for creating apps, services, or even video games. So whatever you're creating, get to production in days, not months. And all with enterprise-grade security to keep your users' data safe and secure. It's time to explore the huge potential of conversational AI with 11 Labs.
AI is coming whether we like it or not. There is still some debates about whether this changes, especially around the workplace, will be good or bad for us in the long run, especially in the workplace. Artificial intelligence is reshaping businesses and industries. A startling trend has emerged. 40% of managers now favor hiring AI over Gen Z graduates, according to a global survey by Hult International Business School. This preference highlights a growing tension between technological efficiency and human potential. While 98% of HR leaders struggle to recruit talent, 89% actively avoid hiring recent graduates, signaling a crisis in workforce readiness. As AI becomes a perceived competitor, the question arises, can Gen Z adapt, or will automation redefine their career prospects? Recently, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, while on the Joe Rogan podcast, shared that, by the end of this year, AI would be sufficient enough to carry out tasks of a mid-level software engineer. While there is a lot of people who dispute this, at the rate of which AI is improving, he might be right. Let's see what he shared on this video.
Probably in 2025, we at Meta, as well as the other companies that are basically working on this, are going to have an AI that can effectively be a sort of mid-level engineer that you have at your company that can write code. And once you have that, then in the beginning it'll be really expensive to run, then you can get it to be more efficient. And then over time we'll get to the point where a lot of the code in our apps and including the AI that we generate is actually going to be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers. But I don't know. I think that that'll augment the people working on it. So I mean, my view on this is like the future, people are just going to be so much more creative and are going to be freed up to do kind of crazy things.
Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff recently shared on this topic of AI replacing workers, especially entry-level workers. He said his company may not hire any new software engineers in 2025 because of the incredible productivity gains from AI agents.
We are going through a global labor shortage where we see all these declining birth rates. We understand that it is harder to hire, especially people here right in the United States in sales and service. You can see it. And this is going to give us the ability to do more. And as an example of that, look at engineering. I think in engineering this year at Salesforce, we're seriously debating maybe we aren't going to hire anybody this year because we have seen such incredible productivity gains because of the agents that work side by side with our engineers and making them more productive. And we can all agree that software engineering has become a lot more productive in the last 2 years with these new models.
The Hult International Business School survey reveals stark criticisms of Gen Z's workplace readiness. Over half of Gen Z employees are dismissed within their first 90 days, with managers citing key frustrations. Let's go over some of the frustrations that came up during the survey, and which HR managers point out as key to the reluctance on hiring Gen Zers. Number 1 is that over 60% of Gen Z graduates lack real-world work experience. Now, to be fair, this is not a problem per se. Lack of experience is expected from new graduates. It has always been a challenge, even in older generations. Some workplaces advertise for entry-level jobs and want 2 to 3 year work experience, triggering a true double entendre. Most recent graduates are straight from the classroom, with many of them having never even gone through internships. So things like how to take client meetings or work around deadlines to deliver are things that they would naturally not know. These are skills that most people, even previous generations, learned on the job. Second, 57% of HR managers complain that recent graduates don't think globally. This actually means that many recent graduates don't understand or care for global business mannerisms and culture. They tend to think about their immediate environment as opposed to global. This makes it difficult to interpret international markets and anticipate market volatility shifts or international business opportunities. A good example of this is how Gen Z often channels activism into local projects, where they can see direct results. During the 2023 global climate strikes, many younger protesters organized city-specific protests rather than engaging in United Nations climate conferences. A survey by Pew Research found that 65% of Gen Z prioritize community-level environmental action over global policy debates, citing feelings of powerlessness in large-scale systems. Third, on workplace teamwork, about 55% of survey respondents stated that recent graduates struggle to work in teams. Gen Z's perceived challenges in teamwork often stem from a blend of digitally native communication habits, pandemic-disrupted socialization, and evolving workplace expectations. Having grown up with instant access technology and remote interactions, many Gen Zers default to asynchronous, text-based communication over face-to-face collaboration, which can create friction in traditional team settings, reliant on verbal dialogue or consensus building. Additionally, formative experiences during the COVID-19 lockdowns limited opportunities to hone in-person teamwork skills, fostering a preference for independent, task-oriented workflows. While Gen Z values inclusivity and innovation, their comfort with flat hierarchies and desire for immediate feedback may clash with older generations' structured, process-driven approaches. These dynamics, combined with heightened anxiety around performance and a competitive, individualistic mindset amplified by social media, can make collaborative compromise feel daunting. However, these struggles often reflect systemic gaps, like outdated education or workplace norms, rather than inherent flaws, highlighting a need for adaptable environments that bridge generational work styles. Fourth, on workplace training, 53% of survey respondents stated that training new hires costs too much compared to getting AI to work at a specific role. Now, this is pretty much self-explanatory. Any new hires are always trained on how to work in their new capacity. The dangers that the employers have always stated is that new hires can be trained and use a lot of company resources, only for them to get another job or be poached by another company. This can lead to massive losses for the employer, as the costs associated with the training will never be recovered. Finally, on workplace professionalism, 50% of survey respondents said that recent graduates are not very professional as opposed to older generations. Gen Z's perceived lack of professionalism in the workplace often ties to generational differences in communication norms, shifting priorities around authenticity, and pandemic-era socialization gaps. Raised in a digital-first world, many Gen Zers default to casual, direct communication styles like emojis, slang, or blunt feedback that clash with traditional workplace formality, inadvertently appearing disrespectful to older colleagues. Additionally, their emphasis on work-life balance, mental health transparency, and rejection of performative professionalism like rigid dress codes or hierarchical deference can be misinterpreted as indifference or or immaturity. Early career experiences disrupted by COVID-19, such as remote internships or limited in-person mentorship, also left some underprepared for nuanced workplace etiquette, like navigating office politics or formal meetings. While critiques often stem from outdated expectations, Gen Z's push for flexibility, inclusivity, and purpose-driven work reflects evolving definitions of professionalism, prioritizing substance over superficial norms. The disconnect highlights a cultural transition rather than a generational failing, urging workplaces to adapt rather than pathologize new values. Gen Z faces criticism for perceived shortcomings, such as entitlement and difficulty accepting feedback. A Resume Builder survey notes that 74% of managers find Gen Z harder to manage than older generations. However, this digitally native generation brings unparalleled strengths, which include the following. On top of the list is technological fluency. Gen Z expertise in social media, data analysis, and remote collaboration is unmatched by any other group that has been in the workforce. Secondly, Gen Z have a value-driven mindset. This group advocates for sustainability, diversity, and social justice that aligns with modern corporate goals. Lastly, adaptability. Gen Z are very comfortable with rapid technological change, which positions them as agile learners. Despite these assets, 85% of Gen Z respondents feel colleges failed to prepare them for workplace realities. Over half claim their education provided no job readiness, while 87% credit employers, not universities, for effective training. HR consultant Brian Driscoll argues that academia prioritizes theory over practicality. He says, learning Greek mythology won't teach professionalism in a boardroom. This disconnect leaves graduates unprepared for corporate communication, problem-solving, or teamwork. The result: a generation entering the workforce with technical skills but deficient soft skills, exacerbating employer reluctance. The solution lies not in AI, but in human connection. Gen Z's reliance on digital interaction, amplified by pandemic isolation, has hindered face-to-face communication. 1 in 5 Gen Z workers admits to never conversing with colleagues who are over 50 years, missing opportunities for mentorship and cultural knowledge transfer. LinkedIn's Charlotte Davies emphasizes cross-generational dialogue. She says that mentorship breaks down stereotypes and builds trust. For instance, it is reported that 40% of employees over 55 years have not engaged with any Gen Z peers in a year, underscoring a mutual communication gap. By fostering open conversations, companies can harness Gen Z's innovation while imparting institutional wisdom. While AI offers efficiency, it cannot replicate human creativity, empathy, or ethical judgment. The path forward requires collective effort. Universities must integrate practical training, employers should invest in mentorship, and Gen Z must proactively seek cross-generational collaboration. Success lies not in replacing humans with bots, but in leveraging the oldest tool in business, the conversation, to bridge divides and redefine the future of work. As LinkedIn's Charlotte Davies notes, before outsourcing tasks to AI, consider the power of connection. For Gen Z and employers alike, the story of workplace evolution begins not with algorithms, but with understanding.